Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Thanks a lot for joining us. We're here and we're live on a wee bit of a Tuesday for a wee bit of Tuesday fun. So we copy and paste some stuff so we can get set up for the stream. Good to see you all live and loud. Although, it's my way to check the old YouTube. Are we live? We are live. Awesome. Now, there's been a few wee glitches between some of the systems, and I'm glad to see that we've got it all set up and ready to cook. Good to see you. There's probably nobody live right this second. So if you're watching this, you're probably after we've been live. Fist bump to you. Thanks for hanging out. And please bear with me for a wee quick moment or two, just while I click some buttons and get us all set up. Because I just thought, let's just flip the switch and get going, because time is of the essence. Time is ticking away. And I'm feeling, we've actually got a kind of topic and a few other bits and bobs to maybe chew over together. So once I've got everything set up, for you that are watching afterwards, and if any are catching in now live and loud, you guys that are here with us, fist bumps to you on arrival. A few bits and bobs. We're at the mid stage of the World Cup, sort of, and pre-season's around the corner, Sorare 27 stuff, and a lot of others besides. So let me just double check everything looks okay. Tickety boo. Apologies again, I normally do this before coming on, but YouTube's also kind of changed the way it looks and stuff behind the scenes. Not that it's important or you guys need to care or worry about it. And yeah, the chat's still broken when I use this system. Okay. Fine. Good to see you all. Fist bumps. Now, I didn't actually get out live and loud here yesterday, which actually pained me, which I really wanted to jump on as quickly as I could today, because we had some big games last night. We were into the round of 32 with the Canada game getting us underway. And now we are, I think, like halfway through some of the fixtures. We've still got a lot of the runners and riders still to go. But I'm feeling this, so in terms of colours, I'm feeling the Sorare blues. It's been pretty on the pro side. Like you guys at home probably all seen this coming. When I'm sitting here, patting myself on the back, going, "Oh, I've got my World Cup strategy nailed. I'll have this team, this stag, this day, run through it all." And the group stage did almost pay off. Not quite, sadly, but almost did. And in the knockout round, it has been brutal. I went and got a Zion Suzuki and a Maxime Crepeau. oh, the Sorare blues, man. Just to try and get off this and to at least have another stab at this in the group state, in the knockout phase, because I do think the knockout phase will be where it's at if you're going to try and win some World Cup cash in the pro side of things. So, it just could not have went any worse for me so far. And I've got a stack up tonight. I still have stuff to play, I'm sure. Heard I add a team. All my leaves done. Didn't you hit reset? Oh, no, I've still got these guys to run. They're not going to hit it, are they? I should just probably bin that lineup. Doesn't really matter. I'll revisit that shortly, because anyway, I'm feeling the blues with this stuff. And it kind of brings into frame a little bit of the topic that I'll kind of get back to in a moment. On the colour side of things, it's been a lot more prolific for the team, for the FC Barcelona Foundation, for the squad thing. We've been running right through this. Sorare has just adjusted it, I think, in our favour. I didn't see the details for it, but I've seen that there's been an adjustment. And there's better packs in the offing. They've removed unlimited players now, and lots of other stuff alongside that. So I might just click a wee team into this kind of sharp, just in case I overlook it later on, which I don't think I will, but better safe than sorry with this stuff, and especially with France for me, because I'm absolutely packing. I don't think Sweden will be total pushovers, but I do expect France to slay. Just lock that in the now ahead of time. I've still got a wee bit of my daily stuff to do. I've got some essence. I won 5 gems on the Road to Glory kind of side of things. And I put Germany out last night in the hopes of getting 400 points and getting by. But sadly, Germany, I'll say sadly for me, I don't really care about Germany that much. But for the streak, it let me down big time. So I'm maybe hoping I can get something out. Probably Ivory Coast, maybe Norway. I have Haaland now, don't I? Yeah, I do. So when those teams come out, I'll maybe even pick a hybrid team, by the way. If it's like 2 each, extra 10, you never know. So we're trying to get this hit before France, because ideally France is coming for the hundo. This will be my third one. No, second. I can't remember. We've definitely hit the 100. Yeah, we've hit the 100 once. Sorry, I was getting confused with the steps on between rare and colours. So this will be our second attempt at it. We want ideally Ivory Coast and Norway to get us over there. And yeah, so it's been painful so far. And for Spain, I spent another couple of quid, as you guys will remember recently. So I'm back in the red, as it were. That last 100 quid that I got to break even or to bank profit, we degened big time going after the bag of sand, the grand. Didn't pay off. I then spent another like 25 quid trying to get Unai Simon for Spain. Didn't work. So I want to hit that 100 again to put us back in the green. Sooner rather than later would be ideal. We'll open one more. We'll open all three, so we've still got wheel spins to do. There's not many packs going around, and every player is a bit of a prisoner now. I'm hunting down a lot of these collection missions now. There's a lot of them where I'm in touching distance. That one there's 25 players away. It looks closer than it is, but there's a lot of that. I'm not far away. Yeah, like 11 on this isn't too bad. 3 on this one. 5 on this one. 3, so there's a few that I'm right close to. Let's just see how it shakes out. The packs that I've been getting from the team play, by the way, has been really good. If you're not in a squad, I recommend you get in one as quickly as you can. The rewards here are really, really good. Even if you don't go all the way, get until it's step 3 and 4, you're still getting a nice daily pack opening there of tier 3 players for your daily missions, if nothing else. For a decisive today, it's just got to be Haaland. Surely that's just the banker of them all for the decisive actions. And then we'll spin the wheel. Now, all of this, right, is fun. I had lots of fun just playing it and grinding it. And colours, I've already hit the 100, had a shot at the 1,000 and missed. And hopefully I'm not going to be too far away from doing something similar again as we've looked at. And I really do enjoy this, right? I was tagged in a tweet, and I'll kind of show it on screen in a minute. And I've been seeing more and more of this sentiment in and around the Sorare stratosphere. So I want to chew it over with you guys. Sorare 27. And I'll get into a bit more detail, but I just want to kind of set these up there so you guys can comment away, and then we'll come back to it in a wee second, and we'll kind of topic up a wee bit here. Topic thing Tuesday. I love my alliteration. Oh, gems off the wheel would have been nice. I don't think I've done it yet. I got one player at the very end of Stellar Knights. Otherwise, it was Essence all the way. Yeah. And I've seen some of you guys get some good players off the wheel. It's not impossible. It's not unheard of. It's just not happened to me, except for that last week of Stellar Knights, like I mentioned. Okay, let's go and have a wee peek at this. Where is it? I was tagged in it. It shouldn't be too hard to find. Here we go. So it's from again. I must confess, this is not an account I'm familiar with. So thanks for tagging me in this one, so I can see it. Voca List FC. Thanks very much, mate. I'm just going to come out and say it. Sending me notifications every single day, sometimes more than once, to buy packs isn't the game I fell in love with. This feels like one of these other games that we fell out of love with, probably upon finding Sorare, as it were. And I've not seen I actually have it on my watch list. The next thing to watch is McBride's Sorare 27 video. But I watched Nep's, I watched the Penfez's, and I watched Harry's. I recommend both of them. And I've seen this to Harry after I'd watched his. I think his came out second to the Penfez's. Is that they're actually both quite different videos in different ways. Of course, they're kind of going through the announcements and the prize pool and whatever. But the Penfez was very much. I might have this the wrong way around, right? But off the top of my head, the Penfez was quite anti-leaderboard, more pro-hot streak, just to kind of summarize a position. More nuance to it than that. Check the video out, of course, as well. Same as Harry, who, again, just as a kind of summary overview, was actually the opposite. So if you've not seen either video, watching both of them, I would recommend it. I had fun with it. And if you've seen one and not the other, again, feel free to charge on with that. But when I was listening to that, I thought, these are two guys that have been around basically as long as anyone else you care to think about. And I've got two totally contrasting POVs on the current state of the game, the current, let's maybe say, impending meta, and lots of other stuff there. And I've seen McBride posting and stuff, so I've not seen his video yet, but I've got an idea of his sentiment and kind of where he's at as well. And Sorare is very much a different game now, and there is this kind of sense of identity crisis that's kind of coming into the conversation a little bit. I think some people brought it up, McBride especially, actually, to me, when you see these Panini figures, the Panini NFTs, and how they're ranking up. And the Penfez actually mentioned this as well, so I can hear his voice in my head saying the same thing, where like Panini does have a bit of like legacy IP, so the NFT maxis, the guys that have been all over like Top Shot and Apes and all that stuff, they probably are quite happy to, and I think I said this to McBride myself, but like if Pokemon brought out an NFT thing, it could be the worst NFT project in every facet, shape or form. But if I had a Pikachu and a Charizard on it, it would break all NFT records, because if it was official Pokemon, it's just the way it would be. So I don't hold Sorare to quite that expectation level, but it does show possibility, certainly, you know, even within, and I know we're talking about mass adoption and this all kind of bumps into each other. But when we look at the pro side of things, and I say I was kind of setting up to go, and then that topic kind of came to me. But if we can go and get the Sorare 27 announcement for a moment, we'll go and look at that. I'm not going to go through it verbatim. We've already did that on the channel, and I say I've just recommended some nice content you can go and check out. We watched the YouTube video and everything, but is there an actual, like, where the hell is the actual blog bit? Let's maybe go to home. I think I want to click on, like, my, oh yeah, over here. I want to click on my Sorare. And then, oh no, is it only that news tab is in the button now, and the bell? News. Where the hell is the graphics and stuff for? I can't even bloody find it. Anywho, there's a much more of a change coming in this year that we, you know, they basically recategorized it as like 3 pillars: arcade, pro, and arena, isn't it? And you know, Sorare's wrestled with a lot of different formats. Now, to come back to the original point, and a lot of the sentiment that's around it now, because the main thing that I think Sorare is let themselves down on a little bit here in terms of the loss of core identity is the fact that, like, rare and limited classics for hot streaks, which they admittedly themselves say is a core part of the gameplay to rare and limited players, there is no difference in classic rare, classic limited for hot streaking. Now, that has some great tactical advantages from the way I was playing Sorare over the last year. And I wonder if we can do this easy enough. We probably can. If we cycle back enough game weeks and try and find a weekend. What were weekends again? Odd numbers? Let's go to 63 maybe. This feels like an international window, end of March. Maybe jump back a wee bit more and go like February. Where I would play my... yes, this maybe midweek. Yeah, this is a weird one. Let's maybe go to this one. Yeah. I think odd numbers are weekends, aren't they? Why have I not got all my... bloody hell, how hard is it to find a good weekend where it's been in season, everything playing? This looks like March. It's only MLS it's on. Why is that? What am I looking at here? Have I went too far back in time? March. Is this not showing me... like closed competitions or something? Has this got a wee kind of glitch on it? So anyway, with limiteds and rares, like I was playing rare last year in season, and in which case you're playing leaderboards and hot streaks together. Now, the main difference that they've made is, and over time, like Sorare's been about making your team, going on the leaderboard, beating everyone, winning money, right? And more the angle of thresholds, caps, beating the game, that kind of thing has become more and more prevalent. Yeah, I'm convinced that because this is maybe closed off Challenger and Champ and everything. Because all I'm seeing here is All-Star and Under 23, which, you know, based on the players I've got available here, you know, Austria's there, Switzerland, Bundesliga. So yeah, I think there's a wee glitch on that where we can't see it. And I get you know, so where Sorare's at with where it started in that sense of like owning the game, keeping the players, and building, you know, a collection, you know, a football fingerprint, as it were, of the players you like, the clubs you follow, the strategies you want to take with the fantasy football element, and even the kind of the players you want, the hidden gems you want to try and acquire and unearth yourself, and like the Cherkis and the Dokus and all these other guys that we've all been Sorare managers and scouted with over the years. And I think that I kind of went all over the place there for a second there with limited and rare in season. I'll come back to it in a second. But with limited and rare classics having no distinction between them and being mainly usable in the same competition, like the main point of them, as it would stand for Sorare 27. And you would have to imagine, because one of the positives we've had this year is not much changes actually happened. So you have to now imagine less change is going to be a new normal, which is long overdue, and I think we're all ready for it as well. But that does then bring the kind of haste, I think, in people's feel of where the game's at in that regard, because Sorare does listen to the community, to their credit, to good effect, you know. And I think there should be a difference between rare and limited if they're going to be in the same bathtub together, as it were, if they're going to be in the same boat, the same competition. So I kind of get where that comes from. And now with the majority of like the hype and the fun being in sets, which is very much a disposable income game. It's very much a high turnover game in terms of like you don't have longevity, you don't have legacy in it really yet. It is something I think they need to work on, because I really liked my Stellar Knights collection. I didn't get those amazing cards that they put out for it. Maybe some of you did. I think for the World Cup, I don't have any super amazing ones either. But they will crack a way of like that being, obviously it won't quite be NFT land, which is what really gives Sorare cards their superpowers, as we all know. But a much better way of like owning your game with the top editions from sets, or whatever you know, whoever wins you the money, maybe you get that personal affinity to a card or whatever. It's not exactly unheard of on Planet Sorare, is it itself? And I think with the lessening of that kind of rare and limited divide, it does just it is just going to not go down well. Is like when you marry that up with all the kind of the wheels and the tickets and the notifications to go in and be mainly a colours player is where all the focus is at, then I get why a lot of people are kind of, you know, they have that kind of feeling that's going around. And I do share it in many ways. You know, I'm so frustrated with the amount of cards I've had that won't be opened this year and last year. Can we look at card edition? There's some that are just diabolical, to be honest with you. Like N'Golo Kante has colours cards, and it's a Fenerbahce strip he's wearing in it. Can we reveal it? No, we can't. On top of that, so does Seko Fofana, who is pictured in the Ivory Coast and Sorare colours in a Porto kit. Again, we can't reveal him either. I had it last year with Matt Freese, who is the #1 keeper for New York and has been for like 3 seasons. And that season's gone now, and I can't open him. Kobe Donovan should be a rookie, and I can't open it because I've never went and got the pictures. This is a guy that came out at the beginning of the season. There's guys also that move at the end of the summer window. There's guys that move in January, fine. Kelechi Iheanacho signed for Celtic, fair enough, on like the 2nd of September or whatever. Never able to open that card. And it's just, it is appalling that this is the case. Now, if it happened once in a blue moon and obscure players, that kind of thing, I get it. But, you know, there's just, they're quite, the bottom line, there is just no excuse for it, you know? So there's too many little things that show that there's less care and attention on the legacy players, on the OG situation, as it were. You know, the vault changes, I think, kind of have to happen in their own little regard, and let's hope they're as tame as possible. But the main game with it, especially for pro, where you're buying the cards to have a pro collection, to have a proper, you know, I did with Scotland, it was a World Cup team. Half them, or it's not half them, enough of them are Rangers players where I don't actually want to own them in any way, shape or form, you know, but you collect cards for whatever reason you collect cards. The utility, the ability to win and all the rest of it comes with it as well. And I think if you go right back to Sorare Mark 1, Sorare Mark 1 had so many things that I liked about it when I found it. And my sentiment at the time was, wow, Sorare are actually way ahead of the game on so many fundamental things that kill projects like this. And I've got no doubt once they kind of grow and they scale and they do all this other amazing stuff, then because they've got all that foundational stuff already in place, they'll be super mega. That was always my feelings upon finding Sorare 6 years ago, which is just incredible to say at this point. And one of those things was you play one team, you go up against the leaderboard, And threshold wasn't there exactly when I started in June, and the first time threshold came in was around the December time, maybe November. So the threshold was like £3, £7, depending on what target you hit back then. And it's taken on many different shapes and forms ever since, of course, all the way to hot streaks and everything else that we know it as now. But this change, like that, so that there's just too many changes that kind of go in tandem that rub against the grain, where, you know, hot streaks, leaderboards are all separate things now, where you need to select, are you going for the streak or are you going for the leaderboard? And I don't mind that strategy element. The game kind of needs it at this point. But to then on top of that, there's no difference between rare and limited when it comes to, even in season, by the way, other than the reward bonus, there is no benefit to the rares other than the reward bonus. I think that kind of works. It probably does kind of work. I just think there's too many limiteds, to be honest with you, where it's probably going to quietly swallow up rare in season in some ways for me, because what I was trying to display a minute ago with the teams I was running last year, right, is I would run. So I had Celtic in. Can we just do a season filter? That might help. Season filter, and then can we do region? That would be fantastic. Yes, we can. Awesome. Right. So in the Challenger region last year, I had, and again, it was a gradual acquisition of cards throughout the season. I've got 23 Fenerbahce cards. Once upon a time, that was one. Porto the same. And slowly but surely, I got to these numbers. I didn't have all this for match day one, obviously, right? But as the season grew on and my collection grew in the region with cards I won, cards I bought, however I acquired cards is how I done it. I was playing 4 teams in rare in season, and as soon as I had in season cards that didn't have a team anymore that I thought were going to play, I would play them in limited in season. So as a rare in season player, in my head, I've got 8 spots of utility. 4 of them I could use limited for, and I would use limited classic goalkeepers or that kind of thing to maybe fill in some spots. Sometimes in limited, I actually got much higher streaks than I did in rare. Some of you will remember on 2 occasions, I think it was, maybe 1, but I'm certain it was 2. We got to like step 4 or 3. We got to like the big ones at limited level. And even to the point where we're even in Division 1 at limited in season, and I was actually picking limited in season ahead of picking rare in season, even with the same rare cards. So those rares had 8 spots of utility. This season coming for me in particular, it is 4. End of story. If I buy more and more rares, if I buy more and more limiteds, I don't have anywhere else to play them other than the segregated segments of leaderboard, which will be limited and rare only. As I'm kind of saying that out loud, if that is the case, is that maybe more places to play? Is it in actual fact, perhaps? I wonder. But the point I'm getting at with the arena mode in particular, or not arena, the pro mode, hot streaks and stuff, is rares, although the reward bonus is fantastic and probably what you need to do to make both of them work in tandem, there definitely needs to be a score difference, I think, between a rare and a limited card. Otherwise, I think rare kind of quietly get swallowed up. Now, I think where the advantage comes in this situation is, like I mentioned before, last year I had 8 teams, 4 of them I could populate with a limited if I want. And sometimes those rare teams would have been a bit nicer and a bit cheaper. Like, I can imagine quite easily if this season that just happened had the rules that we're about to get, Salzburg would have been limited. I don't think I won anyone. Oh no, maybe I did actually. I think I won a Baidu, didn't I? This Fenerbahce might have been limited. The Porto collection might have been limited. I might have spent money on limiteds rather than rares, and that might have been cheaper. Just saved me more money. I'd have spent less on the game probably. Maybe I'd have bought more cards as a consequence with the same budget. Hard to know, hard to say. But that would have made it easier for me to attack the streaks because limiteds just are cheaper than rares, point blank. And number 2, like there is, you know, if you're going for the top streak and you're going to go and buy, like if you think about, let's think about in a champion setting, right? You're on the last step. The missing piece of the puzzle for you is Ousmane Dembele. There is no chance you're buying the rare for 1,000 or 800 or 500 or 200, whatever the price is for it, versus the limited, which will be, let's just say, half. It's still going to be high demand. The market conditions will be different next year. So what I'm saying now, obviously you kind of need to wait to see how things shake out, what the ratio is. But generally, like those guys, you don't see them especially at limit. If there is a super dominant player, you don't see them being like a fifth of the, or maybe, again, you know what I'm saying. Let me catch up with the chat because there's been tons going here and I want to see what you guys are saying. Good to see you all on arrival. Click the three dots on the left. Is that on this page? Oh, the three dots on the left. Graham, thank you. Thank you. This is where we find it. Yeah. Arcade Pro Arena. I got it right. I didn't need the cheat sheet. Now it is a very different game than the one that we fell in love with. I don't think that needs to be a problem if we are still getting, like, again, I just can't say it enough how disappointing it is that cards just don't. How can they supply pictures? Let's just look at it. Let's just be explicit about this. Fofana. Look at that. In a Porto kit on a Sorare card. Yeah. And I'm sure you guys have got tons of them as well. Kante in a Fenerbahce kit. How can this be put into the software, into the system, into the website, and it not, without the fact of like, no, I think it comes down to they don't care enough, or someone doesn't care enough to double check this stuff ever. Because it would take, I'm sure, some manpower, some resources to someone to sit down and image upload or to do something. But if they're able to produce this on a card, then they're allowed to produce the card. There should be no reason stopping this from happening. I remember Liam Peverley, I'm sure it was talking about how a similar situation to this happened to him with Sunderland this year, where the cards, because early access had finished, they weren't, they didn't come in the wrapper. They're just sold on the market as you see them after a certain point. And players were being sold on the market like this that had the full picture, the full card, and he had early access versions that he couldn't open. It's just basic minimum customer care. You've spent the money on the item. You've spent the money on. I don't want to open up these collections and see early access cards. Now I get it with, like, if you have somebody that transfers out, the whole situation we have with that, of course, that is what it is, and that's fine. But I don't want to open up this Celtic collection and see Simpson Pussy. I should have been able to open that. I can't now. He's way to Berlin. He's got a picture for that. Fine, whatever. But I should have been open to be able to open that. Same as Araujo, same as Colby Donovan, same as Stephen Welsh, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. Maybe not him, right? See if he didn't, because he signed at the end of February. I would probably just I could forget about it. But all these guys, look how many of them there is that are just in early access and will never be opened, because I don't see them doing the pictures now. They should. This should be their time now where they housekeep this stuff and get us all happy with the cards that we bought in Sorare 26. I think with Fenerbahce, the ones I've kept in the wrapper are guys that have transferred and stuff. Well, not Guendouzi and Kante and Musaba. Is he available? No. But again, all these collections, it's just bad crack. Again, look at the New York one from last year. Matt Freeze. All the goalkeepers unopenable, which is just mad. They just didn't get the goalkeeper email, did they? It just makes it look horrible. It does, honestly. It doesn't look like a cool collection. Again, some of them, they have to be, in some regard, if you want to stay in the collection, that's fine. That's par for the course, whatever. But yeah, just thoroughly bad crack, to be honest with you. I wonder about that New York. I think this year it's all right, isn't it? Yeah, they're all right so far. Not holding my breath on any signings that come in, getting pictures rapid, but SO7 will be set. SO27 will be sets. Let me take this screen away so we can see this a bit better. And Pro will be even, and limited be expensive compared to what you can win. You need to waste an amount of cards to complete the streaks. A vast amount of cards, sorry. Yeah, so I hear a lot of people talking about doing sets as well, free to play, or spending some more of your. So again, like, early access has an early price spike on it, which I don't think the way they've structured Sorare 27, they're going to see. We're not going to see it in rare. Limiteds will probably be, I'll be watching out for those anomalies, right? Where like a rare just goes a bit too cheap and it's like, I don't care, I'll buy that. I'll always be watching out for that stuff, of course. But I've been a part of 6, 5, 7. I don't know what the number is really. Well, actually countless if you think about clubs onboarding and stuff. But I've been a part of so many Sorare card releases for new seasons, for new licenses, for new leagues, whatever it is, new game modes. And I think this is the one where like early access day one auctions are not going to be as hot cake off a shelf as they ever have been. I think they'll be quite tame by that regard. Now the values might not be too dissimilar. I don't think the market will be that ferocious. I'm sure they're going to do triple, quadruple boosts and everything. And there is a further announcement that's to come that might change a bit of this paradigm shift. But the main thing that I'm trying to wrestle with you guys here, I'll try and get some more comments, is the kind of identity crisis that Sorare has itself with now, is the tweet kind of kicked us off with here. Let me see a wee bit more of what you guys are saying in the chat. Yeah, likewise, we've spent years poking fun at FIFA games, and that's exactly what they've done. I don't mind it in its siloed area like it is, and I actually think they've caught a little bit of lightning in a bottle. I don't think Colours, they did as like Colours, it just, you were expecting it to be full World Cup, you're expecting it to be real kits, you're expecting it to be a splash. We've got the World Cup for sets, and it was a big thing. They kind of backdoored it in terms of like no badges and kits and stuff like that. And we were all fine with it, but I just don't think it was the catalyst that we all thought it would be, and it would have been real. I imagine Sorare could have went into the World Cup saying these are the cards for the World Cup, which is what I tried to do in my content, certainly. And without official partnerships and badges and stuff like that, kind of is hard to live that line. So I'm kind of with you there, Rob, but I also agree. I also quite like it for what it is. Quite honestly, I've played all the common modes. I've played all the beginner modes. I've did everything on Sorare. I have did everything, quite literally, except for play unique. And I don't think they've done better ever, or came close to what they've got there now. I agree, Rob, as well. Every 2 months feels too short. They're doing this kind of, what we can see on that blog page as well, I think, can't we? Summer camp thing, or whatever. I've not even read this, so we might as well look at it now, because I've seen this and haven't read it since. It was 6 days ago. Your colours, yeah, everything keeps playing. I think it's all the World Cup guys, so whatever they're playing, Win Gems in Essence all summer, brand new progression board, new levels, updated missions. Yeah, it's just to keep going. I thought that's what it was, and that's kind of all it is. But sets really should be. It's weird, isn't it? I think like sets. If you're to ask me how to design it for Sorare 27, I would say you have Sorare set for the season, yeah. But within that, you have campaigns, or you have kind of like the vernacular in other computer games is like seasons and battle passes and stuff like that, you know. But you use those types of things and you do them once a month, and it might be this month the chase card is Yamal and Dembele and then Olise, and then the next month it's Mbappe and Kavicha and Kane or whatever, you know, and they're the ones that get the special edition. You make a big deal about it for that player and all the variants that they get in the set, and you probably try and have that done and dusted. You know, you kind of want it to crescendo, but you want people to have nice big collections by the time you get to like late winter, early spring. So you kind of get all the big power players that are good ones out for the first half of the season or so. And then you're maybe just doing bonus, air quotes, bonus ones at that point, you know, like the ones that maybe get a second bite at the cherry, or like Champions League semi-finalists and above, or, you know, other stuff you could do then that are like additional special eds that can make the game something. That's the way I would do it. So your base cards that don't get any bonuses, and again, you'd probably need to like tame down the missions. You do need to worry, I suppose, about engagement, but I think by doing battle passes or by doing different campaigns, however you want to think of it, once a month, it could be as regularly as that. It could be once every 3 months, like they've designed here, stretch it out a bit more, maybe make it more of a middle ground of what they have versus what I've said just now. But I did think that coming into this year, I liked Winter Stellar Knights colours. I liked that. But I did think with Stellar Knights, like asking people to do this 4 times a season is a lot, you know. The thing about Sorare Pro and just Sorare Legacy, Sorare as we know it, is it's buy once and play kind of thing. Whereas this is a money pit. Now, obviously, you can win. Winning isn't really that unachievable. It's very realistic. People who spend money generally do win. There's a positive kind of customer cycle there that we've seen, I think, from enough players. So it's not a bottomless money pit in that sense. You know, if you throw enough at it, you will get back, as long as you're just not incredibly, terribly bad luck, or you're just get terrible at picking teams. Picking the £100 up once or twice in a set run isn't going to be too hard. And again, depending on what you're spending, it shouldn't be too much of a dent on outlay, the way gems are priced, etc. So yeah, I agree. Every 2 months is a bit too short. Yeah, Thomas Ron, echo you and the Penfez's thoughts there on that as well. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. There is an identity crisis here, but I do think sets and it being set to the side, pardon the expression, and everything that it is, I wouldn't touch. Honestly, I don't really, except for the frequency thing we just spoke on, and the kind of maybe the overall structure of it. But I honestly think it's tickety boo. Tickety boo, and no problem at all with it. Really like it. Think it's dead engaging, a lot of fun, and it's a game you can win at. Whereas with Pro, like I don't hear anyone saying. Every season, every club drop, every league thing, there's always people like, this is what my strategy is going to be, right? And I even see Liam King here saying, quite happy I moved to Super Rare, right? Now, this is really funny, right? Because over my career, this is probably the only expression to put it here on Sorare, up until Sorare 26, my constant strategy was high ground, long-term, big lens, bird's eye view, platform only grows if there's a million people, blah, 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 all that kind of, that's always been at the front of my mind. But Sorare 26, I felt like I was kind of climbing uphill, swimming against the tide with that strategy with my budget, and then just force majeure of success and game structure, changes to game structure that I had to navigate that whole time. Harry had a great time at Super Rare last year, Liam. I know you did very well at times as well. You hit big last year, if memory serves right, with Hearts, maybe once or twice, if not more. McBride's did well up at that level, but last year I took the approach of, at this point, I'm just going to pay to win. I'm going to get out of Super Rare. I'm going to go at Rare, and I'm going to use all the tools at my disposal to go at it. Celtic kind of fucked me a wee bit. I actually didn't do that great in Challenger. Everything else has kind of worked out well enough, I would say, as an independent strategy. But as I look at it now, Liam, I think Super Rare and Unique is, and without knowing, I've not analysed that part of the thing in great detail. Gameplay review. Down to the sheer fact of it is like such a low volume count up there anyway. Where's the Super Rare price? Yeah, Super Rare's just Arena, yeah, which is leaderboard. Can we see one of them, please? Yeah. So this is Prem. You also get a bonus for playing the Uniques. The Super Rare and Unique now there's no hot streaks or threshold or anything to be hit here. And this will look this is Holland we're actually looking at. Sorry, I beg your pardon. When I zoomed in there, it jumped. This will look deceivingly like shallow, and you will look at this and think, oh, it won't be that. But there's multi-entry at this as well as late entry, and or is it subs? I forget. Yeah, it'll be subs for this, won't it? It's leaderboard, which again puts a bit of pressure on buying power. I think if you're like that, I want my Sorare back, then that's the division you're looking at next year, because fighting at rare leaderboards, I don't know, man. If you can be really sneaky in the market, see when like early access comes out and buy like the Brentford stack or whatever the heck, all at rare, and I don't know, have your moment in the sun or two, I'm sure it'll still be great. But I think if you're seriously thinking about buying a big collection, a power collection, you're thinking about spending like significant money on something, Super Rares will be cheaper than ever in some ways. The harder one, the powerful ones will still be difficult and expensive, early season, you've got a bottleneck situation. There will be price pressure. I think that'll, yeah, super rare and unique. I think is probably going to be the, maybe not 'cause we're speaking about it today, but maybe be the surprise story of early access 27, with rare being the fall guy. Limited could probably sustain or even balloon over rare in some regard, you know. Like I just don't see, like, think about Belgian rares outside of the top 2 teams or the top 5 players. There's going to be a lot of opportunity, and that's maybe the silver lining angle on it. But yeah, super rare and unique. Liam King. Yeah, Rob's. Was it Rob? Rob and Liam are both the Sunderland boys, aren't they? I think the big cards will go for more and aggressive. Yeah, I think at all areas of the game that will probably be the case, especially at super and unique. I'm not sure if that's what you're. I'm going in SR as well. It's something I'm thinking about for next year, but it's not something like I'm not going to be able to build a wallet. And I think that's what, if you're going to go after early access, I think that's the way you would need to go, because for anyone that's ever played at super rare, the term NFT is never more pertinent than it is at super rare. Like early access, there's only 5 super rares that are going to sell. Yeah, maybe 6, depending on what we're talking about and how they actually do it for next year. Some of that's still a bit unclear at times, isn't it? Let's just say it's 5 for convenience. 3 of them will be in early access maximum. You're not going to get 4 sold on early access. So if you're after a goalkeeper, a captain, a striker, star defender, whatever it could be, like you need to get them when they're on. If you don't get them when they're on, you're cooked, unless that person wants to sell. And why would they sell? Because they're injured, or maybe their form becomes crap. Again, maybe you can buy into that, fine. But it's not like rare and limited has been and will be, where you can like, oh, who's on today? Oh, there's a wee auction for my right back that's going. I might just try and snipe that. That's not the way super rare and unique goes at all. Card acquisition is a totally different animal. So you do need to be prepared for that. Anyone that is half eyeing it up, I kind of know already, you bite off a lot going to super rare and unique. It's a commitment. Anyone who's in the chat, feel free to argue against that, but it's not something you can do half baked. You get very, because the price of goalkeepers, classic or in season, I don't care. It's and then when guys get dropped, guys get injured, fixtures don't correlate or something. You know, like it's you bite off a lot when you go there. Wow, Grimmy away to Atleti. That's going to be mad. I fell in love with the collecting part and playing fantasy football with cards. And yeah, that's exactly me, Thomas. That's exactly me. I think that element is still there, but there's just barriers to love now, isn't there? You know, where like I'm sitting here and I genuinely don't know what I want to buy for early access. I will buy something for in season. It's almost like force of nature at this point, just because of my life and what I do and whatnot. But I genuinely don't know what I'm like. Celtic are a basket case, right? So if they're cheap enough, I'll gladly buy them. Of course I will. I'm a sucker. Same as New York this year, essentially. I'll go down that path again. Of course I will. But outside of that, like, I don't even know what the structure is going to be next year. If it's SPFL only, it might be different. I don't know if that's for better or worse in a lot of ways. But yeah, identity crisis, there's a good way. It's again, and I think if you're sitting here now listening to me, the easy thing to think, I'll get involved in that next year, is this. Because you could spend £100, which I think anyone would spend on early access if you've played for Sorare longer than 3 months or whatever, and get a good start on the season and have some fun. And then maybe if you get some success, maybe you buy a few more gems to get you on the bigger steps as you progress along the way or whatever. But you will be able to look at Sorare 27 and imagine spending under, let's just say £300 and say that's my Sorare budget for next year. Not that we should be thinking of ways to motivate ourselves to give Sorare money or anything, right? But like that's what I'm hearing from everyone, that this is like, oh, I'm definitely going to mess with this. I'm definitely put something at this, and this might be the best way to win a bag of sand out of Sorare on the reg. And the promo just doesn't have any of that je ne sais quoi about it, that va-va-voom. You know, it's not quite there. Again, there's a further announcement that's to come that might change a lot of the flavour that we've got here today. I'm feeling a wee bit the Sorare blues as well because of the way the Global Cups went for me, which I mentioned earlier. But I'm genuinely sitting here thinking, I've got Sorare 27 strategy videos, and I've got 3 kind of things half sketched out of like, some of them are like, remodeled versions of old strategies and stuff like that, of course, because you can't reinvent the wheel in a lot of cases. But also, I like to do like, if I started Sorare today, it's one of my favorite types of videos to do. And if I started Sorare today, like, it's just a sets video. It really is, and you're then talking about moving into rare and limited when prices are attractive, or when something looks undervalued, or you've got some spare money. Maybe you win 100 quid out of sets and you position into some classic limiteds or limited in seasons. You get a wee rare on a guy that's going to come in for the suspended right back or injured goalkeeper. I managed to pick up Karl Heinz super rare for 25 last season. Nice. That's brilliant, mate. Yeah, I'll be running MLS as I've done as well. I've said I'm just wholeheartedly on. Do you know one thing I kind of do know I'm half going to do is because I've started a new channel for some of you who don't know. I don't mind kind of half pumping it here, but particularly if you're a Sorare player, like, it'll be hopefully a good resource to you. It's called Scottish Football Daily. Guess what we talk about there? I'll show you something actually, a wee sneaky peek. Just making some graphics. Oh, I can't really show them too easily on this software. Oh, it's really nice, by the way. I like that. Yeah, looking at so anyway, looking at the transfer market then now. Yeah, it's done the wrong thing for me. Meant to get some data to blah blah blah. Anyway, stuff for later. But anyway, Hearts have bought like 7 players already, so on and so forth. I might, for my Sorare Pro thing, I might do like Scottish football fantasy, like the best of the rest from around the league kind of idea. Who's got the best fixture? Buy the keeper with a clean sheet in the bag. Buy the captain that should cook, that kind of thing. That's the only idea I've kind of got there now. There's always the kind of base stuff of trying to go into a division and getting the undervalued team or the budget play and making a fist of it. That's the only other thing I think about. And with so many years gone by, that's just never been a question before. It's like, unquestionably champ or unquestionably X competition is the one to be at. And I need to make sure I've got my ducks in a row so that when those cards come out, or when this happens, or when that gets announced, blah, 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 bum, I've got my ducks in a row. I've got my guys lined up to go. Well, thank you very much, Liam. Really appreciate that, mate, especially from you being a Hearts fan. It means a lot, mate. Thank you. How do you distinguish between overpaying for players in early access and paying expected value? Would you look at previous year sales, or do you just bite the bullet? It's kind of somewhere in the middle, Craig. Like, you do need to get relative market. And early access, like, so what's going to happen is Sorare will do a promotion at the beginning of the season. They'll do all the payouts, 3x or 5x, whatever, and then all the prices go on steroids at that point. You need to really look at them as a value proposition on those bonus payments when they're available, when that's what the price in the market is showing them to be for. But I always come back to a few things. Now, I love where the marketplace is in a lot of respects, right? Where real life values can be like kind of spoken about in a more considered basis, right? For rare limiteds, for rare classics, anything under 50 quid I'm interested in, period. Like, we'll look at the player, we'll talk about it. Some guys over under 100 is where I'm interested in as well, of course, depending on the profile of the player and what we're talking about. But when it comes to in season, the guy, you really need to base them on utility. Like, am I going to play this guy week in, week out? Is he a reliable scorer? Can he be used for step 4 and 5? And like, if I can go back to, let's just put into this page 10, maybe it should throw us back big enough. No, let's go to page, let's try 13. There we go. Right, so Dyson Maeda, I got on early access for 114. He was like amongst the cheaper Celtic players early on. only goes back to 6 months. Oh no, let's go to a year. So he started out the gate, yeah, wild 400, 200s. He kind of meaned out, yeah. So Daisen Maeda is like, I know he can be great, right? But generally, especially when you go back to the beginning of the season, generally he's like a decisive 60. You know, that's the best case scenario for him, generally speaking. Isn't a captainable guy. It's kind of semi-regular, has got spikes in him, obviously. I think that's why the beginning of the season, the hype was so big on him, or why the price was so exaggerated, maybe for one or two of them. But I think you kind of look at this, a guy like this, I spent, what, 100 quid on him. I'm looking at the market I'm contending with and thinking, you know, like, where did I get? Was my wee dot should have a different colour on it, shouldn't it? Yeah, there I am there. So, yeah, I kind of look at that and go, a guy that will play for Celtic every week should get around 20 decisives. And I would have had market credits involved in this as well, no doubt, because there's just market credits everywhere at this time of the year. Around 100 quid, 80 quid, I don't know what I'd have net paid. And I kind of just base it on, I'm happy to pay that, to have Daisen Maeda in my team for a full season, based on relative market of what you see the guy going for, not only at the time, but compared to other options for the competition. So you kind of need to benchmark with the market, then use your personal budget of, like, again, Arnie Engels, I was like, I'll wait for him to be 50 quid. Not an amazing scorer by any stretch. There's my green dot there, 50 quid. And he was coming out, yeah, like 200. Again, I'm not paying free 200 quid for Arnie Engels. 120, I could have maybe went up to that if I was mad desperate. But again, I was able to, because I had classics as well, and I filled the pieces out elsewhere. Where I did spend big, though, was Alistair Johnson. I remember him being a big spend, because he just, for me, was like super nailed. Austin Trusty, again, you can wait for prices to come down. I think this will be even easier to do this kind of thing next season with Rare, to be honest. But yeah, AJ and Tierney, I didn't mind buying them early, because they, number one, were going to help with those quadruple payout things that were on the go at the time. Obviously, AJ gets a big injury. I don't see him for most of the season. Hitate looks like bad money spent at this point. But with the budget I had, I was like, I'm getting one Celtic team that will play every week, should be dynamic, and whatever my budget led me to buying the guys I did buy. But then for everyone else, I'm looking at stringent little kind of personal price markers. Like, I couldn't bring myself to spend more than X on. I already have 4 Daisen Maedas. I don't need to spend 200 quid on one. I'll max out at 100 quid in this example, you know. Probably not, Liam. I'll probably manage. Maybe I'll probably just about manage to avoid buying Rangers players. No, I'm okay, mate. I won't be wearing Hearts shirts or anything. Yeah, you need to look at what's available as well. This is just me personally. If you go back, we're on page 13 here. See if we look at page, let's just say 18, right? I don't even know what's going to come up here, right? I would have had the same psychology around any of these players at the given moment, because it's just, I'm going to buy this guy to play in this competition. You know, what is my budget? What's realistic expectations? And again, they're not, again, sorry, I hide the prices of old cards. Don't make it easy to look at on screen like this. So now, I don't think there's any good examples we're scrolling past anyway, if I'm being quite honest. Berardi might be one. Yeah. So he was getting relegated to Serie B and he didn't transfer. So I was like, I don't mind spending £76 on having a forward classic, which he was, all-star, that can pop 70s and 80s for fun. I didn't mind that. I seen the value in doing that at the time. So you've got to personally value the stuff how you see it, and in the market shouldn't make or inform, you know, but you do need to see what's in front of you and go, right, okay, well, he's 300 today. His price will come down. The price will only continue to come down. And you're then thinking about where you jump in more than the market price. Because you see with Daisen Maeda, in season is now £9, you know, so they fall. The price will fall all the way to the last game of the season. And you're just trying to judge, I'll pay 50 quid for one. When is he 50 quid? Is it today? No. Well, the day is 50 quid, I'll buy one, you know. But again, if you've got hype and you've got the 5x multipliers and you think, well, do you know what? I want to be involved in that. I would have paid, you know, the Alistair Johnson was 160. I'm maybe sitting there thinking for an in-season AJ, I would pay 100 quid, or Tierney, I'd pay 100 quid anyway. Would I pay that extra 60 to get him in now, to get one of maybe for the collection bonus, and to have a month of triple payouts available to me? Yes, I would. Then I'll pay the extra 60 in that case, or that instance, as it were. So it's a lot of and again, Cherky is probably a prime example. When I picked this up, he was not playing. He was not playing for Man City either on that front, you know. And this was very much a heart overhead one. He'd went for much, much more in previous years, of course. Look at that. Someone paid 420 quid, or 450 quid to shirt swap this card before. So this is a bit more of, like, I don't want to use the I word, right? But I want this Cherky. And I don't care that a regular Cherky is like a tenner. I'll pay an obscene amount of money for this one. Because again, that Sorare identity, I want the rookie. I want the OG. With some other seasons, it's maybe not the rookie. It's maybe the title winning one, or the year I was following that team and playing their cards week in, week out. Could be any reason. But again, you value them all independently for what they are. Cherky has maybe a wee bit of X factor about him, of course. But yeah, it's a personal kind of thing all the way around. Like any other World Cup guys I can list. Japan are out now, aren't they? Yeah, I don't need an in-season Ueda. I've got my classic. Just stick him up for sale. I don't think I spent much on these guys anyway, so. Will you play pro this year? Is asking Michael. Yeah, I think I will. I think at the very least, like I said earlier, I'll probably do some sort of SPFL fantasy thing, which I'll try and tie into some content for you guys and for the other channel, maybe if I can make it engaging enough. I don't need an in-season Tanaka. So what did I pay for Tanaka? I don't think it was much. Yeah, 9 quid. Dipped a bit now. Whatever. I bought them for what I bought them for, and we'll move them on. Are they in the available list? I think I already did that. I'll keep Ito because I've got Kim Min-jae in that collection. Arnautovic. Oh, yeah, they're still playing, aren't they? I'll keep that. I'm going to keep the Suzuki because I've always needed a Suzuki. And I've got Japan Internationals for Classic anyway. All the Scotland boys. I'm tempted to vault the Rangers players, but I think Shankland will be too useful to not use them for giveaway cards and stuff like that. Like to win giveaway stuff. I'll probably keep the Kim as well. Austria are still to play. Croatia are still to play. Joe Chima are 1. Vasilj, I'll see where he transfers to, but I probably don't need 2 Vasiljes. Or Vasily. Vasily. My VVD. Again, the VVD was just a pure, like, I think Virgil was going for like 90 quid classic or in season or something. It was a very well priced thing. Again, I kind of value that. I will pay that for this card, you know, unquestionably. Same as the key. I'll pay £8 for a fancy key Sung Young and never use it. No problem. I should probably vault him. It's only worth 2 vault points. Hardly worth it. We'll definitely be getting an Excel spreadsheet with the help of Claude getting built to track this year. That sounds great, Craig. Look forward to hearing about that. I'll probably be looking at Celtic and Liverpool this year. I was just looking at players who utility died off throughout the year and see the drop-off was like Casper this year, for example. That's been the most painful thing for me and McBride and every other Celtic fan is we had Joe Hart, very expensive and not great for 2 years. And then we replaced him with Kasper Schmeichel, who was very good in the first year, very expensive, didn't have many cards prior to joining Celtic. And then in the second season, was very old, very expensive, and then retired halfway through the year. Sinisalos maybe somebody I should be looking at. I think how many Sinisalos do I own? Now, the great thing is for streaks, we can buy limited Sinisalos. I'm not going to do that because I get a big collection bonus on my rares, so it doesn't make sense for me. But if any of you guys starting out, limited Sinisalo is the way to go. I've got 3. So how many am I going to need? I've got 3 classic Sinisalos. How many Sinisalos am I going to need? I can play 4 hot streaks, yeah? We don't know arena, we don't know regions yet. But arena is in both, isn't it? What is the multi-entry? Is it still 4? For streaks, it's obviously life, so it's a bit different. And that, yeah. That's a good point, Michael. We are looking at goalkeepers. I'm just thinking, like, what's the minimum? Like, I've got 3. Like, I want to buy a 4th is kind of what I'm thinking about. I'm not thinking about buying, like, 5. This is my first year playing pro. Coming up, I played a bit of MLS, but don't really know if it's worth it. I like the idea of buying Celtic stuff. Celtic stuff's always kind of all right to buy, especially for crap, because they get cheaper. And then any success just feels a bit nicer, doesn't it? Nothing worse than overpaying for Celtic and then we're crap for a bit. Or guys get injured or whatnot. But yeah, in theory, I could just go buy limited Sinisalos. Classic rares are at 15. Limiteds are at 2. Why would you buy a rare classic? I'm maybe going to do it for collection score, but those prices are they're going to really come together. Maybe that's to the limited benefit. I don't think so, though. I think it's mainly to probably to both, actually. Like, limited Sinisalo classic will probably be like a $5, and the rare will probably be a $5. Maybe £6 down to scarcity difference. You know, if you're like me and you have a collection. We're just using him as an example, but Celtic might buy our goalkeeper, so it's not a certainty that that's the Celtic keeper. Don't rush into that. Just as an example. There's no reason to buy this, except if you've got the big collection thing, like I've tried to mention at every opportunity here, but rather than buying 1 rare, like, I should just buy 5 limiteds for the utility purpose, you know? Same price, really. If not, well, I could buy 7, couldn't I? Arena said there was a minimum of 4 or maximum, 4 lineups per scarcity. So yeah, we get 8 playable there, and then 4 in streaks. Or no, well, streaks is lives, isn't it? So you're playing 1 at a time, but yeah, kind of complicate. I suppose you have to say you get more utility for rares. But if you were a rare and limited player, you've lost utility, yeah? If you played single scarcity, maybe makes a bit of sense if you're a limited only player to look at rares for next year. But again, I don't think it will be base camp. I think it will be nice to have. People will look for those inconsistencies where Sinisalo in season limited is £50, but the rare is 58. The extra £8 for the bonus, and then that kind of vibe. No, Liam, it's only 1 streak to rule them all. But if you have rares, it's the same way as the way it worked last season at Super Rare and Unique, where the rares akin to the Unique get a reward boost. So much so where, wrong thing I've clicked on, it's 2x the payout if you play a full rare in-season team with a captain in-season rare. So these streak numbers that we have, if you play a full rare in-season team, they double. That's why it's 2. So if it's a full limited team, it's this. If it's a full rare team, it's that. And if it's a mixture, you're somewhere in between. So there's one streak, 4 lineups. Oh, Sinisal. Again, it's weird to think about because limited, there's such a huge supply. A lot more people have access. I think at £2 he moves up in price, the classic. It's very usable. Very usable. Is there an increase in limited demand now? Probably. More people can use the limited than before. I was planning going to rare this season and was hyped for it, but now I'm not sure anymore. Maybe just stay and improve limited. I already have players like Yamal. So I think for you, Luke Peters, is actually probably, I think it's kind of easier. So if you already have classic power, like Yamal, right? Classic captain power. Buying, is it worth you buying Joan Garcia rare in season? No. Is it worth you buying Eric Garcia in season rare? Yes. Is it worth you getting Frankie de Jong in season rare? Yes. Is it worth you getting Rafinha? Probably not. He's probably a limited, you know. So I think for you, your team's probably going to be a bit of patchwork, you know, where, yeah, like Eric Garcia or Balde or, you know, non defense, the Kunde, the defense you'll buy in season rare for, the goalkeeper you'll have limited in season. You've got classic Yamal, however you find them. And then maybe Ferran Torres, you can afford him at rare because he's not a hype boy, but he'll score well and he does score well eventually for you. You know, that kind of thing. Danny Olmo with an injury, you pick him up cheap. Pedri, you get the limited. I think a team like Barca or like your kind of thing there, I think you'll go between the two of them, you know. You're not going to buy an in-season Yamal rare, are you? You know. Worth even upgrading limited classic over going up to rare. Yeah, well, even if you are a rare player, there is a huge market now for Yamal limited, like we just spoke about there. If you, and this is the positive I had when I looked at this from the way I played last year, right? Where me buying limited Yamal, I was in Challenger, so it wasn't actually Yamal. And I kind of had most of the good guys by the end. But whoever you want to think of as that guy, if you were playing rare, that classic, 500 quid, you're not buying that to get on to step 5 or to attack the leaderboard or to finish your Barca collection or your Barca stack. It would be more than a collection, I suppose, if you're going cross scarcity. But there's a bigger market now for this Yamal limited. All of a sudden, if you're a rare only player and you're going to play rare next year, or you've got classic rares anyway, buying a classic Yamal, air quotes, insert player, Mbappe, Dembele, whatever the competition is you focus on, Kane, Olise, if you're going to play Bundesliga next year, you don't have these guys. I don't want to say their prices will go up, but demand for them will increase because other rare players will click on. I can just get a classic Olise. I don't need to save up for that rare Olise anymore, classic or otherwise. Maybe sitting there saying, "Oh, Quinny, you can't play classic, rare, and classic thing, maybe whatever." But when you're going into pulling essence, all star, all the other game modes, your rares will be playable with the limited in any case. You know, that's all. Let's go and find the competition structure one more time. Didn't really show us anything for classic, did they? You said it was all going to be the same. So while you're trying to win yeah, that's another thing as well. Where do you get rare essence from? Because the streak mode only pays out limited essence. Yeah, the streak only pays out limited essence, even if you play rare cards. The only place to get rare essence is on the leaderboard. And I suppose in classic is where it will be as well, yeah? So if you want rare essence, yeah, here it is. If you want rare essence, the only place to get it is here. I suppose the limited Elise doesn't distinctly help you with that. But in any case, your high quality rares plus an Elise probably get you going quite quickly in limited, don't they? A lot more competitively than you would be at rare. So I'm saying, man, rare feels like it'll be semi-swallowed by limited. Yeah, definitely look like, you know, like the why buy a guy at limited that's a fiver when you can buy the rare that's 20 quid and you get a bigger payout for it? You know, that kind of guy. I think you'll very easily find yourself having a kind of patchworky lineup. And it should be stated as well, super rares and uniques also do come into this. So for some of the guys that we've had in the chat already, we're like, oh, I was maybe thinking about super rare. Similar to what we're chatting about. Maybe you get backup left back in super rare for a couple, you know, you maybe you grow into it as the season goes on. You maybe don't get out the gates because super rare is just that kind of scarcity. Maybe you trade into it. Maybe you hustle the super rares a wee bit, turn them, flip them for some profit. But there's some things that I think they like the rare limited thing. There's just a crazy kind of broken part of that. It feels like to me. Again, remembering the only place to get rare essence is with rare cards is fine, but then you're winning rare cards to predominantly play streaks or pro. So yeah, I think the rare limited thing, there needs to be something. Maybe there doesn't, but it feels like there is a break there. Like the Sinisalo example, like those classics, it kills the classic rare market in a lot of ways. In some cases, maybe it doesn't. No, it does because again, if you need a standalone player now for streaks, you're only looking at if you just like who's the best goalkeeper this weekend. You just need a guy. You don't care about collection score and all the rest of it. You just need that guy that's nailed for a Quinny that you don't own. You're going to go and just pick it up. Classic limited, cheap as possible. I think so. Seem to be quite successful. They seem to like what happened with super rare and unique. I don't think it works at this level as well. I don't think it works as well. It's probably the best way of putting it. Can't predict the future with these things. But yeah, there's only limited essence on this. So yeah, the identity crisis. And on that note of the notifications and stuff, like, does it get to the point where we can buy another pack? Bronze Shiny Plus. Let's do this. Zenadine B. No, that was a waste of a pack. Rising Flame. Ooh, out of stock. Oh yeah, they're doing all these flash deals, aren't they? Yeah. Maybe an opt-out to set notifications. There probably is one, isn't there? Is there settings? Notifications. Lineup invalid. Appearance destroyed. Received when your card is removed from a lineup. Okay. Lineup cancelled. Auto sub. Received when a card from your lineup did not play and was automatically replaced. Oh, yeah. Let's get that. Oh, I don't need emails, do I? Triple. I don't think anyone's ever stolen base. Oh, these are be baseball things. Loan proposed? What? When did we have loans? Oh, good point. Look, you may get the choice. Yeah. That might happen. That could be cool. I don't think it's here. Like sets. Yeah, I think yeah, like most seasons, I've always had something in my mind where I'm like, oh, I need to get this collection together, or there's a wee shopping list of cards that I've been meaning to pick up. But this summer, fair enough, I've did my load a wee bit, my summer's budget with Scotland and whatnot, but and the Suzuki in the end. Hopefully, sell the rest of the guys on for about break even. Uh, we need that second announcement. I think that will flavour the conversation quite a lot. Ross Stewart is Blue X. Interesting. Who knows, Rob, by the way? Who knows? We've maybe just uncovered something there. Going and checking the old notifications. Last year, I think people were nervous, Michael, because Sorare was changing quite a lot. Like this time last year, we were coming out of having cap modes, I think, didn't we? Sorare 25 was like cap time, wasn't it? Cap 270, 240, 220. Special weeklies. In-season bonus, but no in-season mode as such. Or maybe it was the first in-season modes, actually. But it was a wee bit different. But yeah, I think there was like, people were like, don't know how this is going to go. And then it went well. I think people really like the prize pools and hot streaks. MLS was the kind of early indicator of all that, wasn't it? But I think this year, like everyone's kind of like not bothered for early access. Everyone's quite willing to roll with sets. Maybe that's why they've extended summer colours for a bit, so that the set activity doesn't interfere with early access, maybe. Or Stuart's a free transfer, is he? It's a free agent. But yeah, I think the only thing I'm kind of half interested in is like a Portugal Ronaldo, and that is clearly like just to vault it or something. It came down in price. He's like 50 quid now, I think. Yeah, 55. Egg's got an old one. I don't want that. There we go. Egg's got a new one. I would take the oldest one, but I don't like these ones with the funny haircut. They've all come into the market now, haven't they? These Portugal ones are around. But none of these guys... Oh, no. One of them wasn't it Egg? Oh, no. Egg's got that one. Oh, Egg's got this one. I'll send a wee offer for this. Available. Japanese lads. Huang. Tejon Kripau. Kripau still got a wee bit of World Cup utility, which should make it... I know it's a bot, but it should still be a usable card for the trade, you'd think. So he's going for about 55. Yeah, that should be all right. Probably need to put a quid on it in case he removes stuff and whatever. I'd be interested in that. I sent an offer for something else earlier. I got a counter offer back. Rejected your offer. Counter offer this thing. Suzuki. Oh yeah, I didn't need to do that anyway. Did I have any... Oh yeah, Benny. Those two guys plus 12 quid. Doesn't feel like a good deal to me. None are for sale right now. Interesting. Does Basil still have this? He does. Let's try throw him some other fodder. Senegal are still in, aren't they? We'll keep that now. Ivory Coast are playing Norway. I don't think I've got another... Yeah, I was looking at that. Global Cup. Let's just cancel this. Bang for your buck next season set looks to be the best bet. Yeah, I think you're quite right there. I say there's a second part of the announcement that we'll need to really form an opinion with. Let's zoom out here. Playing soon. So we have no game for Magic Mike. France played today, did they not? Why is France Sweden? Is it just kicked off or something? Why is France Sweden not showing? Different versions count as different cards. So if you get rid of if you have one copy of each version and you get rid of one, it will go against you, as far as I understand it. Yeah. France, Sweden is still tonight. Nothing's changed there. Weird. France. I can just about throw a wee team together before America and Bosnia play. At a Hail Mary. And I've got a real stack to play after it. So I've got America v Bosnia. I could go with Vasilj or Freeze. I'll go with probably Freeze, but if Vasilj can play, that's fine. Trusty would be nice. It's kind of the only defender I've got, unless I play Classic. Midfield, I would have Reina from the bench. Yeah, I'm kind of wait. Yeah, I've not really got much going on here. Aja Begovic up front. Yeah, man, streaks are not doing well for me. Anyway, what was I trying to work out there? Bazuma Toure to hit 360. It's not going to happen. Who was I trying to size up there again? Oh, that Benny. Let's try and counter. Scott McKenna. I think that offer might have been accepted, by the way. No. Don't know why I thought all those players were gone. So Krapau, Tejon, Wang, yeah. See basically, yeah, okay, that's fine. Oh yeah, because I cancelled the lineup thing, didn't I? Forgot about that. But I did clear all 3 lives. You know, that's a bit shady. It says if you go past all 3 lives, you can do it. Yeah, Mignon can't be used anyway. That's fine. So I'll be... Well, maybe then just think about... Oh, Vasilj is nailed. Freeze isn't. Ayer. We'll get to see if Fafana plays. Started 2. Oh no, 1 was a friendly. What other options do I have? I could play Adams Classic. Or Reina if he starts. I have Ajal Begovic is a forward. That's weird. I can use Ayer. He was in that as well. I'm sure he was anyway. That's weird. Yeah, okay. So if Fafana plays, I can use him. If not, I'll use Tyler Adams, most likely. Negren wasn't in a step. Kante wasn't in a step. That's definitely glitched out. That's definitely made a mistake on something for me. Yeah. It does, doesn't it? I just made a team there as a draft and then I deleted it. I'm not sure if that's what's caught maybe one or two of those guys in it because it's fine with Ayer. Like, Ayer's fine. But it's France, Sweden exclusively. Like I didn't use Theo Hernandez or Starfelt. It's weird. It's weird. It's weird. France, Sweden. 8 accurate long balls. You have no cards playing today. Yeah, like there's a glitch here with the France game, isn't it? Global Cup. Who commits 3 fouls? Let's go with Ayer. Odilon. Swap that a bit. Decisive picker. Pepe. Again, why is this a France game? It's pure weird. Weird. Oy. Yeah, man, so I'm not sure I've got much more World Cup action left in me when it comes to pro because my next actual team I can play is Austria, who are playing Spain, and then I've got Croatia play Portugal. Trying to get off a step 1 before they play isn't going to be easy. I can maybe get one team together. But best case scenario, by the time those two play, I hit the 420 on this step and I get to here, and then I've got like hardly anyone left in the World Cup. Ugh, so it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Yeah. Get them on the old dog and bone, you're saying? I'll probably get to keep all my XP from now on, actually, as well. Been going into the vault as well and unvaulting a few players here and there. Vaulted all my Craig Gordons after the World Cup and some other pieces as well. Scotland guys. Balakwisha, 137 quid. Oh. Did I bring him out the vault? Oh, 7 days to go. Need to bring Vickers out. And somebody else. I've got a classic team that looks alright here, doesn't it? Well, this one is a bit. This is a different one. This is okay too. Jonathan Tah. Imagine he scored that goal. Imagine that was allowed. Be flying. Yeah, the Brazil team here is alright. AJ, Captain Bruno was a pop between Ryan and Paqueta. It's kind of job done. Pepe and Chape freeze. Japan team sucks. Ake played. Good shout by whoever said that, by the way. This team's okay. Captain Harris. None of the Man City boys have played yet. Now, guys, we'll be live tonight It's MFL Nations Cup. Season 15 is right around the corner as well. Tonight it is Uruguay, who is managed by me and assistant manager Harry Trades. Oh, nice. I've got some more rallying to do. If you're a sort of backer, we need to get all the rallies in. It's kind of too late, but maybe we can squeeze a bit of it out. So rally as much as you can if you haven't been doing so already. I put some posts and some messages out to rally the troops, as it were. Some repeat offenders actually not pulling their weight, quite public ones at that. Not showing up here for the lads, not showing up for the cause, not representing the flag with distinction. But we're going to go into the game tonight well prepared with a good battle plan, and we'll be live tonight for that. The game is at 7:30, I want to say. Yeah, that's a countdown. Yeah, 7:30 UK time. So we'll be live maybe 10 minutes before to take the match in. Do a bit of a preview. Next set isn't until September, so we'll be once the transfer window's closed. Interesting. Good info there. Yeah, that summer camp thing's going on until the end of August then, isn't it? We need to have better care with the pictures of cards and collection stuff. Needs to be a bit more of a bring it back to some Sorare basics in that regard, you know. Rares Unlimited in the same competition. It's like, it's what we expected would happen at some point. If you guys have been here long enough, we used to have a competition called Pro Mode, where it would be the bridge between rare and super rare. You were allowed to play 2 super rares in it, and the other ones would all be rares. And we all expected that there would have been Unlimited Pro that would have came out at some point. It never happened. But with the mode that is now, like, it should be that dynamic of the rare has a bit more of a score power on it. If you're going to give it a payout bonus as well, that makes sense and brilliant. But the rares, yeah, they should have a scarcity bonus. No doubt about it. Do you maybe need to adjust targets? Does it need to be that super amazing powerful? No, it really just needs to be 5%. Doesn't need to be 10, 15, 20, anything like that. Just needs to be something. And it might, do you know what? It only actually needs to be classic, really, if we're being honest. I don't care about rare in season scoring differently to classic in season, but classic rare should have 5% over classic limited. That then in turn would almost make the classic card the most powerful in the puzzle. And for that whole Yamal situation we spoke about before, like, would you pay then for a classic Yamal rare more than a limited? Of course you would. You don't get the payout bonus, but you get a score bonus. And if it's an old card, you're likely to have collection, high XP. They need classic rare bonus. 5%. Problem solved. Heard it here first. Hello, question. Can I join the body squad from Select? I don't know what the hell that means. You're a new guy here as well, Rix. Oh, can I join anybody's squad from sets, maybe? If anyone's got a squad, Rick's moves. I read that totally wrong. Sorry, mate. If anyone's got a squad, Rick can join. Let it be known. And so I'll be back live in about 3 hours, guys, on this channel, and we'll do some MFL live streaming. Harry, I'm sure will be around for that one, no doubt. Let me know your thoughts and feelings on the Sorare identity crisis we've been kind of juggling through on this one. I've called this stream Tuesday Fun. It's not really been Tuesday Fun. It's maybe been Sorare's identity crisis. That's a good title. People will click on that, won't they? There we go. Change the title. Anything's full. Yeah. If anyone in the chat, the comments section, feel free to tag at Rick Moves 33, I think it is, or 36. What's the full name? 3627. Kind of got abbreviated on my screen there. But yeah, I'll be back in a wee bit, everyone. Thanks everyone that hung out tonight. In the comment section when the stream ends, let me know your thoughts and feelings. We'll be back tonight. Maybe we'll choose some of this over with Harry tonight, kind of after hours after the game, you know, in the pub after the game with the boys, kind of vibe, you know. So I look forward to seeing you for that. Have a good one, everyone, and I'll see you later. Just call me Rick.